Hello, I'm Nora Abbott, and you can call me Nora. This is my first video, and I'm going to talk about the very first dream that I ever wrote down. I want to share these dreams with you because they're extremely vivid for me and often linger in my mind well after I wake up. Sharing these stories helps me to release those lingering feelings. This first dream was one I had at the beginning of 2016. I can't remember the exact date, and unfortunately, I didn't write it down. I remember that it started with myself and 5 other people running through the woods at night. We were being chased by people who were using dogs to track us. As we ran, I kept watching to confirm that everyone was still with us, and we managed to eventually get ahead of the people who were pursuing us. After several miles, we arrived at a cabin, and I recognized the cabin as one that my recently deceased godparents had owned. Well, we went inside and locked all of the doors and windows. So we got far enough ahead of them that we knew we had some time and could attempt to get a little bit of sleep before they caught up to us. So we decided that 2 people would be on guard while the others slept, and the ones who were on guard were going to keep themselves busy by looking around the cabin and trying to find out what we could about the entire situation, who might be pursuing us, why they wanted to do that, and so on. And we also were supposed to look for perhaps a way to escape this entire mess. Well, the first portion I got to sleep for a little while, but I was part of the second guard shift, and I found the door to the basement while I was on shift, and found that when I went down there, there was a safe in the middle of the floor. It was bolted into place, so it couldn't be moved, and it was almost impossible to crack. The combination had 6 numbers. I then found a note on a desk on the other side that said that each of their godchildren, which was myself and the 5 other people who were running with me in the woods, held the combination to the safe, but in pieces. So myself and the other guard went to wake the people who were sleeping, and we all went to the basement to try to figure out what the combination was. As we were going to the basement, we could hear the dogs start to approach the cabin, and as soon as we had closed the basement door, we heard them break in the front door. So we did our best to block the basement door so that it would be harder for them to get in. And we spent the next few minutes arguing back and forth about who knew what from when we were children and remembered having seen them most often. Eventually, someone mentioned that they loved telling us riddles when we were kids, and each child had been given a set of different riddles. Each time that they saw us, the riddles would change, but there was always one question with an answer in it that was a number, and the number never changed. So even if they had changed the other riddles and those answers, that number always stayed the same. So it was like each child had their own number. Well, we found another piece of paper among the desk contents that had initials on it for each of the godchildren, and we realized that it was actually in order from oldest to youngest. So what we did was we started to try to crack the safe using each of our numbers, starting from the oldest to the youngest, as the safe had 6 combination numbers. So we managed to get the safe open, but our pursuers were able to break through the basement door at the same time. So unfortunately, we weren't able to read any of the papers that we found in the safe, and I woke up right at that moment. But when I did wake up, I still had the feeling that I was being pursued and that I was in danger, even though I knew physically that I was not. So I found one of my notebooks that I had recently bought, and I wrote down this dream. So by now the dream book is completely full, and I have a second that's filled halfway. I hope to share some more of them with you, and I hope you enjoy them.